You will make it through. The fitrah is awake in you. With Quran and Sunnah by your side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. You will make it through. The fitrah is awake in you. With Quran and Sunnah on his side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. With Quran and Sunnah on his side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through.
All right, so here we go. Today we're going to be covering pages 154 of the book. And this is the book. Please buy the book, guys. Because like I said, when you go to these other people and ask them to explain, they don't know what you're talking about because they don't have the book. Okay, they haven't read the book. So how can they explain what they haven't read? Like Salama told a couple of the Romans, just to let you guys know, Muawiyah, may Allah be pleased with him. When Muawiyah was the Caliph of Syria, he sent the Roman women and their husbands to learn the religion from Aisha, radiallahu anha. When she was in Medina, she had one of the first schools. So the women came to Medina. The Roman women came, Persian women. The Persian women came to Medina. Okay, and Aisha was talking to them. No, there was the Romans. Yeah, the Roman women, and she asked them, "You the women, y'all take public baths. You women, I heard, engage in public baths." They said, "Yes, we do." She said, "And you women wear see-through clothing." She said, "You can't enter into my home." She wouldn't let them in the house at first because they had on see-through clothing. She said, "Believing women cannot, wear see-through clothing. Go and change your clothing." And so when they came back with clothing on that wasn't see-through, she let them in, and she said, "I heard you women take public baths and y'all bathe together and take off your clothes and all of that and show yourselves naked." They said, "Yes, this is true. This is a Bukhari hadith." She said, "The Prophet, my husband, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, any woman who removes her clothing anywhere other than the home of her husband has taken down the barrier between herself and Allah." You can't do that as Muslim women. Okay, so there were some women who didn't come back to her house to hear that because they were offended that she told them that they couldn't enter her house with see-through clothing on. So when the other women went back and told them what she said, that, "Oh, we can't do public baths anymore," because Roman people took public baths. They used to bathe each other and all that. So when the other women went and told them, she said that we can't do public baths anymore. These women went to Salama, and they said, Aisha, radiallahu anha, said that we can't take public baths anymore, and we can't wear see-through clothing anymore. Is this true? Where Salama wasn't one to play with, as you guys know. She was the cousin of Khalid bin Walid. She don't play. Salama, she wasn't going to get caught up in no fitna with these crazy women. She looked at them. She said, how can I verify? Although she knew the answer. She said, how can I verify what I wasn't there to hear? I wasn't present to hear what Aisha said or didn't say. So how can I verify what I wasn't present to hear her say? She said, why don't you go and ask Aisha what she said? You know, that's how smart and strategic and brilliant a brain Salama had. She wasn't going to allow those women of fitna to pull her up in it. That's what I'm saying. Women are devious. How can somebody explain what I am teaching if they've never read the book? That's what this reminds me of. How can you go and ask someone else to explain what I am teaching if they don't know what I'm teaching? They've never read this book. They didn't write it. They haven't seen it. They haven't read it. Y'all get what I'm saying? Although Solomon knew the answer. She knows that a woman cannot take off her clothes in the public, and she knows that a woman can't wear see-through clothing. But she wasn't going to allow them women of fitna to pull her in their garbage. You see how we have to think? We have to be conscious. Conscious. Be conscious of our fitrah. The fitrah is searching for the truth. The fitrah is searching for submittance to Allah's will. And when you awaken the fitrah of your heart, you think before you speak. When your fitrah has been awakened, you don't fall victim to the shenanigans of people who are weaker in their faith than you. When your fitrah is awakened, you don't fall victim to the games that other people play. Solomon didn't fall victim to that crap. Okay? And that's how I want all of you sisters to be too, strong in your faith. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But before we get to that, I have one question from yesterday. Yesterday, we spoke about how pondering the names of Allah can serve as a great means of keeping your fitrah awakened. In fact, so great of a means that it can serve as a strength for you in handling the hardships of life. Just simply pondering the meaning of Allah's names. And I gave you guys a great example of it yesterday. Who can tell me how that is so? How is it that just thinking about the meaning of Allah's name or attribute, how can that serve as a great way of helping you handle the hardships or trials of life? Can anyone answer that one question? That's the only question I have for today. How? Anyone? What is it about pondering or thinking about the meaning of Allah's name that makes it such a great way to deal with or get through a test or a trial of life? Can anyone tell me? I gave you all a great example yesterday.
Okay, I wasn't here, but I'm going to try. Salah.
By the way, anybody listening, this my best friend.
Alhamdulillah. Okay. Reflecting on Allah's names, it helps you develop and become more inspired by listening to his names. It helps you devote more love to Allah, because once you start pondering his names, you try to emulate some of those attributes of his so that you become more like him, inshallah. And that also it helps you become more inspired to do the things that you should do to help develop a love for him by going over his names.
Okay, can you give us an example? Let's say you going through give me an example of a problem and how one of Allah's names can help you deal with that problem?
You can be going through just maybe a hardship, a loss of a child or loved one or something of that nature, and you would think of one of Allah's names of being most merciful. Then you think of the things that He has done for you and have helped you throughout different things. That's a trial that you would be going through with, the loss of your child, and your love for Allah should help you to understand better that Allah, everything has a, what word am I looking for? Everything is decreed to happen. So you learn to accept what Allah's decrees are. Halfway answer.
That's pretty good. You a teacher. You a professional teacher. That's pretty good. Pretty good, Tiba.
Alhamdulillah.
Anybody else want to try too? Good job. You lose a child. You think about the name mercy. Allah is merciful. I would have added a little bit more, Tiba, but I'm poetic. How could let's use an example. You lost a child. My son just died. Okay, let's ponder the name Ar-Rahman. Allah is merciful. How can that name, being merciful, bring solace or peace to me, help me get over or help me handle the death of a loved one? Merciful. Somebody give me an example. Show me how pondering how Allah is merciful can get me through that. Let's take it that way. Somebody jump in it. Layla, my Moroccan sister, Layla.
Sister Laila, I wasn't gonna say the most merciful. I was thinking of El Jabbar, meaning it's the healer of the heart. So if I had lost a kid, I would know that Allah is the one that can heal my heart and that can comfort my heart in loss of a child. But for mercy is that I'm trying to think of a scenario with His mercy is that that I have an idea that He took my child, and that how I think of Allah is how He is. So if I know that He's merciful and that He's taking care of my child and that my child is in a better place, and then my child died as a Muslim, that gives me comfort.
Okay, great example. The fact that at least my child died as a Muslim, that's comforting. And Allah knows best. We know less. Perhaps my child is in a better place, and He took him at a good time. Allah knows what we don't know. Maybe it was best for my child to leave this earth now, before me, rather than after me. Maybe if he had lived longer than me, he wouldn't have had no one to care for him. We got to think like that. Maybe if I had left this earth, who would have taken care of him? Who would have had his back? So maybe it was time for him to go before me. Because had I went before him, he'd have been alone, struggling alone with no one to help. I got the credit cards. I got the money. No one would have been here to help get him out of trouble. Allah knows best. We know less. So out of Allah's mercy, Allah took him before me. Because had He taken me before him, he'd have been alone. He'd have had to struggle. He'd had to fight. He'd had no one to have his back. So out of Allah's mercy, He took him first. You have to fight Shaitan. When Shaitan put those type of thoughts, the sister is typing, people ask, why did Allah take my son before me? What parent wants to bury their child before them? Well, because your child couldn't make it after you. Fight Shaitan. The Prophet said, always think the opposite of what Shaitan wants you to think. Shaitan wants us to question why Allah does something. Turn it around. He couldn't have made it without you. That's why he had to go first. What you got to say about that, sister? Your son died before you. She said her son died. Did you ever think like that? She said, I never thought about that. Your son probably couldn't have made it. Were you always there getting him out of trouble? Yes, you were. What if you left here? Who was going to get him out of trouble? Did he have a father? Was there anybody else that came to his aid? So Allah did what was best, didn't he? Accept the qadr of Allah. Keep it moving. Exactly. She said, I never thought of that. She said, thank you, Sister Laila. I never thought of that. See? There you go. Okay, Rashida said, when someone wrongs you and you, instead of getting revenge, remember that Allah is the avenger. He will get justice for you. He'll take care of the problem for you. Think of name the provider can help when it's faced with financial hardship by knowing Allah will provide a way through employment or guidance to resources. Exactly, Sister Sakina. Jamila said, when I'm going through trials and I don't understand what to do, but by calling on Allah's name, I don't feel alone. It gives me patience to wait on my answer to come and win and made life easy. Exactly. These are all good examples. When we ponder the names of Allah, they serve as a great means of handling the trials and hardships of life. And that's the example that I showed you guys yesterday when I used the war of Gaza. That one verse from Surah Al-Hashr. That one verse of Surah Al-Hashr where Allah mentioned all those names. I used all those names and broke the names down. He's the inventor. He's the inventor. He's the most merciful. He has a plan. I used all those names to slap y'all back to reality. That he's in control. That he knows what's best. He has a plan. Learn to accept that reality and keep it moving. So his names and attributes can slap us back to reality when we find ourselves freaking out in times of distress. When we find ourselves becoming over emotional and overwhelmed with life's hardships, they slap us back to reality. When we find ourselves questioning, why my son? Why did he go before me? They slap us back to reality. Well, because he couldn't make it had it been you before him. He wouldn't have had no one. He'd have been all alone. He would have died anyway. He'd have been right after you. He wouldn't have survived a day after you. You got to think like that. Good job. Okay, so let's go on to today's lecture. So just like pondering the names of Allah is a great way to keep our fitrah connected to Allah and strengthen it. Also recognizing and realizing Allah's bounties is a great way too, because it helps us to develop conscious love, that conscious love which we need to develop allegiance to him. And remember, allegiance to Allah entails loving everything that he loves and hating everything that he hates. And so what Dr. Karim AbuZaid did, which I really like, he gave us some helpful hints that we can do to help achieve or develop this conscious love for Allah. He recommends, number one, keeping a journal. And this is a great idea. We should all keep a journal of gratitude. Keep a gratitude journal and list at least 3 things each day that you are grateful for. And this is great to do every day of the year, not just during Ramadan. I know we do it during Ramadan, but I want us to do it every day of the year. Get a journal and get one for your children too. I want you sisters to have your children do it too. Keep a journal and write down 3 things every day that you are grateful for. This practice will help you become more mindful of Allah's blessings, because we're living in a world that has so much violence in it. We're living in a world today that is so filled with disappointment that we can get so caught up in the negativity that we don't ponder the good things. So keeping that journal will help us be more mindful of the good. Also, another thing that Dr. Karim AbuZaid suggests is every morning when you wake up and every night before you go to bed, engage in some type of action of remembrance by either saying Subhanallahi wa bihamdihi, or either saying La ilaha illallah, or either, making supplications to show your gratitude to Allah. And that's something that I encourage you to do all the time too. I've always told you guys, every time you wake up, before you get out of bed, make dua thanking Allah for putting your soul back into your body. That's what I do. Every day I say, thank you, Allah, for putting my soul back into my body and giving me another chance to earn your love, earn your forgiveness, and earn your pleasure. And every night before you go to bed, that supplication that I gave you guys, where the Prophet taught us to say, asking Allah that should he take our soul, that we die upon the correct religion, which is the religion of Islam. We should be saying that dua every night before we go to sleep. Also, during the day, take at least 5 minutes out the day to ponder and reflect on the beauty of Allah's nature. I do it every morning since I've been getting up after Fajr. I go out and get my coffee. When I go out and get my coffee and take my garbage out, I look at how beautiful the day is, and I ponder the water, look at the waterfalls around me, and I ponder how beautiful Allah's creation is. At nighttime, after I do my last class, I'll sit on the couch, I'll look out my window, out the balcony, and I'll see the beautiful moon, because the moon is always right over me. And I'll say, oh, how beautiful the creation of Allah is. Look at the flowers, look at the sky, look at a snowflake, and recognize the wisdom of Allah, the beauty of Allah. Do that at least once during the day. And also, sometime during the day, send blessings upon our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Learn and recite different supplications taught by our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to express gratitude. Subhanallah. And also take a moment each day to consciously count your big and small blessings. I find myself thanking Allah for the fact that I don't have to go to work, that I'm retired, that I don't have to rush and punch a time clock, that I can do whatever I want to do now. If I want to go out the house, I can. If I want to just walk around in my pajamas, I can. I don't have to do anything I don't want to do. Acknowledge your health. Acknowledge your family, the food you have, the roof over your head, the fact that you got a paycheck, that you got a retirement check, all of that. your family, your husband, your friends. And also pay it forward. I'm always telling you guys, pay it forward. Engage in charity and kindness. If you don't have money, what do you have that you can help people? My knowledge of Islam. I sit here in the Zoom room. I advise people. I share my knowledge with others. Be kind to others. Help those who are less fortunate. This will make you more aware of the blessings of Allah. And also pay attention to the Quranic verses that we learn here at this website. Pay attention to the hadiths, ponder the meaning of them. Reflect on the meanings and then apply them to your lives. And be mindful of your prayers. Focus when you recite Al-Fatiha. Remember that the Fatiha is a conversation between you and Allah. So make sure you pause at the end of each verse and know that Allah is answering you. Try to put your concentration on that Fatiha and be consistent in coming to these classes. My 6:30 class, try to make it every day, because this is the class that will help you to get into paradise. This is Aqidah, the belief system of the Muslim. This is what you need to know to get through the grave and to get into paradise. Study the names and attributes of Allah to deepen your connection to Him. And also develop a positive mindset. We live in a bad world today. It's hard to trust people. We got some bad Muslims today, guys. The Muslims are no different than the Kafir, the majority of them. But we have to develop a positive mindset. We have to stop complaining and instead focus on gratitude and contentment with what Allah has given us. Try to make the best out of our situations. Try to make the best out of our relationships. If you're in a toxic relationship, get rid of it. Make sure that your food, your money, and your relationships are lawful. If it's an unlawful relationship with another Muslim, just get rid of it and look for strong, healthy Islamic relationships. Remember that developing conscious love for Allah, this is a journey that requires consistent effort and mindfulness. And by actively counting and realizing Allah's blessings, you will strengthen your connection with Him, and this will manifest the essence of allegiance in your life. And once you do that, guys, once you recognize the blessings that Allah has given you, it's going to reflect itself in the way you worship Allah. You'll find that your worship will change. You will find that when it comes to making those salats, you'll get better at it because your love and allegiance to Allah will have deepened. Remember, love lies at the core of Al Wala. And in our daily acts of worship, it will become the driving force that brings us closer to Allah. And when we love Allah, our allegiance strengthens. So our prayers, our supplications, and our remembrance of Allah is no longer just a ritual, but instead it becomes a passionate expression of our love. So when we bow to pray, our hearts are filled with awe and reverence. And the warmth of this love permeates every prostration and every whispered supplication. So our worship becomes an intimate conversation with Allah. And you will approach those prayers anxiously, waiting to talk to your Lord. Okay? And not only will you see the improvement in your personal prayers, but you will also see the improvement in your relationship with other people too. Because when we love Allah, it's going to cause you to have empathy towards the rest of his creation. So you're going to find yourself being more empathetic towards other human beings. You're going to find yourself searching for other believers like yourself. You're going to feel a strong unity with others believing, practicing Muslims. And you're going to love them for the sake of Allah. And you're going to want to be motivated to help them. You're going to want to reach out and help other needy Muslims in your community. And this is going to cause you to want to disassociate from the bad Muslims. You're not going to want to be in the company of those who smoke, those who fornicate, those who don't wear hijab, those who don't pray. You're not going to want to be around people who take Islam as a joke. That's the Al Bara. You're going to find yourself hating the things that Allah hates. You're going to find yourself hating cigarettes, hating drugs, hating people who make a mockery of this deen. You're going to find yourself hating hypocrites, hating people who make a mockery of our beautiful way of life. That's when you know that your faith has really grown and your connection to Allah has really grown, because you're going to find yourself on this sincere path to closeness with Allah. All because you're now integrating allegiance and disassociation into your worship of Allah and your practice of this religion, because you're embracing love for Allah and what he loves, and hate for the things that come between Allah and what Allah hates. So by integrating Al Wala Wal Bara, this is how we develop that love for Allah and that dislike for what he dislikes. And this is how our connection with him strengthens. And this is how we become stronger in our faith, stronger in our practice. And this is how we become righteous, more righteous in our delivery as Muslims too. The people around you will see the change in you. They'll say, what happened to her? What happened to him? He's such a good brother. She's such a good sister. Your children will see the change and they'll become like you. They'll want to be like you. You'll find yourself gravitating only towards the strong. You will find yourself distancing from the weak, not having time for the trivial and weak people. All right.